How does getting a random envelope in the mail, filling it out and returning it lead to autocrossing, which then leads to running an endurance racing program? Also, how does getting a Foxbody Mustang as a graduation present lead to running a 5-state racing program? Well, my next two guests tell those stories. Let's throw the green flag on this episode. Well, as I mentioned, I have Jay and Glenn from NASA Great Lakes. Gentlemen, it's great to have you here today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks very much, Bill. It's great to be here. We talked about this a couple months ago, and I've been looking forward to it ever since.
We did. It was much warmer back then, and I think we were still racing. But yeah, we want to talk about a lot of things because there's exciting stuff happening with NASA Great Lakes, especially the TREC Endurance Series that Glenn's going to talk about. But first, I want to remind the listeners, Season 1, Episode 7, Jay Andrew recorded his first ever podcast, and it was with us. That's way before we had the Atomic Autosports studio. We were recording at home via Zoom and all that kind of stuff. So it's great to have you back on again.
It's great to be back.
Yeah. And Glenn, we're going to learn a lot more about your racing background, including Porsches and why you like them so much. And you're drawn to the 944s. We'll talk about that as well. But Jay, first, for those that don't know, what is NASA and why is it Great Lakes?
I'll give you a little bit of background. NASA is a national organization. It's a nationally sanctioned organization, National Autosport Association. NASA, we race cars. We don't launch rockets. Started out in California in the 90s. I think we're at year 30 or 35 as a national organization. We're up to, I think, 15 regions.
Wow.
They have like a rallycross region in Hawaii that's new a couple of years ago, and they're just starting. They've tried to get it going in the past, but a region up in the Pacific Northwest,
all right,
which is kind of cool. So, and NASA Great Lakes, became the Great Lakes region technically. Well, it started out as the Ohio, Indiana region, and then there was an additional region called the Midwest region. And when I acquired it, it was it was Great Lakes and Midwest, and then we combined it into one region of Great Lakes. It just made more sense instead of having two of everything and two websites. And
right.
And so it's a pretty big region geographically. I mean, we get drivers that often tow 8-9 hours to events, which is pretty impressive.
And it covers Michigan, Indiana, Ohio. What else?
Illinois.
Okay.
Wisconsin. We have people coming from Iowa. We're a lot of members in Kentucky. Western Pennsylvania, West Virginia. It's pretty big region.
Right. One of the things I really like about NASA, because I've been lucky enough to attend one of your weekends, is the focus on the people. And no matter what you want to do, you're brand new, you've never been on track before, there's something for them. And there's something that that's been racing for decades. So first, if you could just real high level go through the differences between HPDE 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, that's a really good question. And there's another level in there too that I want to talk about that's important, which is HPDE Intro. Mm-hmm. And it is...
Is that the old hyperdrive?
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, it's similar to hyperdrive, only it's more detailed. It has its own run group, and it started based on this relationship that NASA and Toyota have.
Yes.
And real quick, if you buy a Toyota GR product, you get a free NASA membership and a one-day track day. And so we created this intro, and it's a one day, it's a lead follow format. And right now we sell it out with only the Toyota GR customers.
Oh my gosh.
And we get about a 35% return rate from those people coming back to our events. So our goal is to give them a really good time to experience their new car on track at a great event. And so from there, then our beginner level HPD is HPD 1 is beginner, 4 is advanced. HPD1, we have a really robust curriculum that goes through the full weekend that combines classroom instruction and in-car instruction with your own personal instructor. And what is really special about that is the curriculum translates to what you learned in class, you practice on the track, and the instructors know what's going on in class, and so they know what to teach on track, which I don't think that's real prevalent in the industry, but it's very important to learning. Level 2, you have to graduate from 1. There's a test you take. We have a checkoff instructor that has specific criteria to graduate somebody from 1 to 2. And in 2, you have an instructor in your car 1 or 2 sessions, if you're lucky, per day during the weekend. All of our registrations are full weekends. We don't really do single day because our curriculum is based on 2 days. And in 2, it's kind of solo, but not quite. And the drivers are, have learned a lot of the basics and are starting to go faster. And then we have criteria to graduate from 2 into 3. And in 3 is where you really learn to go fast. Yeah. And Robin Burnett is our series leader there. He's a riot. Everybody in that group has a blast. They do a lot of drills. When people first hear about the drills, they're sometimes a little put off. They're like, I don't want to waste my track time doing that. But then they realize, what they learn in the drills and how to be comfortable side by side. So it really expands into kind of eliminating trains and learning to work together as a group on track instead of an individual driver. Yeah. And we do some we used to call them mock starts, but we do some sort of kind of start.
It's a double wide start of session, something like that.
Yeah. When we called it a mock start, people got a little too excited.
Not a start. A little too beginning ambitious. Of session. Yeah.
But it gives people in HPD3, which are very advanced drivers, sort of the taste of racing a little bit.
Sure.
And a lot of times that hooks them. And then HPD4 is the group that a lot of our instructors drive in, people doing test and tune in their race cars. That's the pinnacle of our HPD system. And it's kind of the destination.
Sure. Yeah. I have to tell you, so I've done HPD3, and when they said we're going to do some drills, I was kind of like, just like you said, I was like, man, I want to go out there and I want to lay down some fast laps. We just talked about this. I want to go out and apply that. I love the drills. They were so much fun, because then you're like, you come back, you take your helmet off, you go back to the garage. This was at Mid-Ohio. You go back to the garage and you're like, hey, you were in that white car, right? Yeah. Oh, how fun was that, man? I think you had another foot. When we go back out, let's try to get a little closer to one another.
Yeah.
It was a blast. You meet so many people, and that's just one part of the NASA organization. Before we talk about anything else, we're going to jump over to Glenn, and let's talk a little bit more about Glenn, because this is your first time on the podcast. Yep. And let's start by your first car on track was a Porsche 911 that you still own. What made you want to take that on track?
Yeah, we got to go back a bit. I'm going to age myself here. I was about 7 years old when Mario Andretti won the Indy 500.
Okay.
I watched it on a black and white TV.
I won't say what year that was. I know what year it was. I'm not going to say
1969.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. And I was hooked.
Yeah.
I thought Mario Andretti was the greatest person in the whole world. And I still remember very vividly going out to recess after that, getting on the swings, and I'm Mario Andretti, and I'm going real fast. But yeah, so after that, I was really the old Wide World of Sports, covering the F1 races. I would watch that whenever I could. So then fast forward, just graduated high school. My girlfriend at the time, her mother won a radio call-in contest. She just loved to do this and got 2 tickets to what's now called the Rolex.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't want them, so she gave them to me. So we were in Florida at the time, not too far. So I went up to Daytona and I saw the Rolex. It was the 24-hour Pepsi challenge at that time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And that totally blew me away. And that was it. Sports car endurance racing. That was when I got hooked back then. So I went off to college, Air Force, came back home, got a little card in the mail once. It says, we're having this class action lawsuit, blah, 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 and you've been identified as a potential. And I say, yeah, sure, fine. I sign it and I throw it back in. Several months later, I get a big check. It's like, really?
No way.
Yeah. And I had been dreaming of getting an old 911. So I'd been shopping and suddenly I had the funds. So
Holy cow.
I went out and I found a 1978 911 SC. It had appropriate upgrades, but it wasn't too pristine. So it was something I could drive and I picked that up. And this was, let's see, late 90s. And I drove it. It was my daily. I was living in Florida at the time. And somebody told me about autocross. And so I started doing SCCA autocross and was having a blast. Ended up leaving Florida and moving up to Pennsylvania when the real estate bubble burst. And when I was up working in Pittsburgh, started doing autocross up there.
At Pit Race?
At Pit Race,
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And then a buddy I worked with told me about SCCA's Track Night in America.
Yeah.
I was like, really? So I took the 911 out. I did that. I said, I'm not doing autocross anime. Nope. I got to do the big track stuff. Yeah.
And this is before anything with NASA.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I took the 911 to a few Track Night events and had a blast and knew I needed to learn more. I started doing stuff with the Porsche Club and Chin and Auto Interest and a bunch of those other guys, and started working up and building my competence. Then there was a PCA event that I went to, and I was ready to move into the advanced group, and went out with my instructor on Saturday. After a couple of sessions, I told him I want to go into advanced group, and then I want to learn how to race because I need to race. I should back up a little bit. I'm not doing this in the 911 now.
Okay.
Yeah. So after a couple times on track with the 911 and seeing a couple of people go off track in their car, I thought, you know what? That old adage, never take a car to the track you're not willing to leave at the track, kind of struck me. So I went shopping and I found a 944.
There's a 944.
Yeah.
All right.
It was an 85 944. It was street legal, but prepped for the track, had all the suspension upgrades and stuff. So that's what I started really learning on. So anyway, now back to where I was. The PCA event, my instructor said, I can't teach you anything. You're absolutely good enough to go to advanced. I'm going to sign you off for advanced, and to tell you the truth, PCA can't teach you anything else. You need to go to NASA Great Lakes. I said, really? He said, yep, I've instructed with them before. They got a great program. Go. I had my whole summer planned out, and so I looked, and there was a NASA event coming up. It was May at Mid-Ohio, and I canceled all my other events, and I went to this NASA event in Mid-Ohio, and Jay put me in HPDE 3 because of the background I had.
Yeah.
And it was a crappy, cold, rainy weekend. And
Not in Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, before the repave, right? So this is a while ago. I learned more in that one weekend, in that just those 2 days, than I had learned in years before. And I was hooked. It's like it's been NASA ever since. So I went through 3 and 4, became an instructor, got my comp license. I was going to go 944 Spec racing. The group that was racing at the time in Great Lakes, wonderful people. And you mentioned earlier, it's the people. It's like, oh my gosh, the people in this group are incredible. But the 944 guys tended to bump a little more than I was
Yeah.
was comfortable with. Not intentionally, of course, but
Close racing.
yeah. And I'd always loved the endurance racing. And there was this TREC stuff that Jay was doing on Fridays. It's like, that's what I'm going to do.
All right.
So got a buddy and we started racing TREC. And
In the 944?
In the 944. Yeah, and that's what we've been doing.
Is that still what you're racing?
That is still what I'm racing. Yeah, we lost a motor the end of this season, and so I've decided to kind of upgrade. I'm working on an LS swap. Yeah.
LS swap the world. Right?
Yeah. I was, again, during a race at Mid-Ohio, I'm driving down the backstretch and checking my gauges like I do. Like, whenever you hit a straight, check your gauges. And I'm thinking, why did I put that gauge there? That should have been over there. And this one should have been over here. And it's like, what was I thinking when I laid this whole thing out? Oh, I should brake. That's what I realized. I needed a faster car because I was starting to get bored,
starting to think about life and
so,
gauge relocation.
Yeah, so LS, lots of guys do that, and there's lots of kits and parts available.
Yeah.
So going that route.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we learned a little bit more from Glenn and his track, the cars he's had on track. Let's go back to Mom's Foxbody. So why is Jay Andrew racing Mom's Mustang?
Mom's Foxbody. This is a good story. It was in Grassroots Motorsports when it was a paper magazine.
Yeah.
NASA had a section in there, and it was highlighted in there, and a couple other magazines and stuff. But yeah,
that's cool. My 911's in a issue of Grassroots Motorsports.
Is it?
Too, when I was autocrossing.
All right, we'll look those up. We'll put them in the show notes, a link to them.
So, so mom's Foxbody. My mom bought the car new in '86. Air conditioning delete, no power windows. She had the stripe removed off the center of the hood, and
was that for economic reasons? Because
she just wanted it plain.
Okay.
And her mom drove a Mustang also, so it was kind of in the family. And and that thing was a hot rod in the day in '86, and so she had that a few years. In Ohio winters, it's not the best car to have.
No.
And I graduated from Ohio State, and that was kind of my graduation present. And so I took that car and started autocrossing, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And first ever track day was at a BMW Club event at Nelson's Ledges, which is northeast Ohio by us. And it's just kept evolving. And currently, a few years ago, I did a Coyote swap in it.
Oh.
So it's got the 5-liter. It's a really well set up race car now. There's not much Coyote left in it, but it's got all the good Go Fast stuff on it.
And that's still what you're racing today.
That's still what I'm racing today. I had a hiatus for, almost 3 years. We did a little damage to it. My son, there was some handling issues. I blame him. I blame the handling issues. He went off in turn one and hit that bump in the exit and ripped the splitter off, which damaged the radiator. And so it's that because it needed a little repair, and I needed some funds to do the repair. And so I got it back together with a goal of championships this year at Ozarks, and did some races to qualify in that. And then I currently had the track record in American Iron at Ozarks and wanted to do better than that. And in qualifying or practice, I lost 4 seconds off that lap time. And the competition was pretty tough. And a buddy of mine, Bruce Byerly out of Florida, was hauling the mail. And in qualifying, going into turn one, if you've ever been at Ozarks, turn one's a fast left-hander. You have to be on your A game. I heard a boom, looked in the rearview mirror, cloud of smoke, pulled over, didn't put a drop of oil on the track, but had a rod sticking out the block.
Oh.
So I didn't quite get to race at the championships, but I still had a fun journey there. Yeah. And so looking for a new engine, which may take a while, but that's okay.
All right. Yeah, it's always something with racing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about NASA, and then we're going to do a deep dive in the track. So some of the things I want to share with listeners I really enjoy about NASA is Glenn's shirt, for example. So you hear all these people talked about during the weekend. Hey, go talk to Glenn, go talk to Robin. Well, who, where? When you see that name on there, that gives that customer, that member, that person there, I know who I'm dealing with now. I can connect with them. I think that's great you do that. The whole weekend is so organized. You got these nice schedules that are printed out. They stay on track. There's always something going on. So if you're in between your sessions, you want to go watch some other stuff, there's plenty of stuff going on. But there's some fun things that happen in the evenings too, like Friday night dinners. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we generally do our award ceremony, trophies, and sort of a dinner, something simple, barbecue sandwiches or something, is Saturday night.
Okay.
And we do, we get together and have some beers and break bread and have a simple little meal with all our friends and do our award ceremony where we give out trophies to all the classes. And it's just a good time for everybody to get together and hang out. And I don't know, I think it brings everybody together. Everybody's welcome. HPDE intro through 1 and 4 and time trial and racers, everybody's welcome. We tend to attract more of the competitors to that.
Yes.
But we want our HPD drivers to realize the fellowship portion of that too. But
Sure.
It's good. We try really hard to put together a professional weekend. We're a pretty good sized region, so we have the luxury of having a lot of staff and a lot of good staff, and everybody kind of follows those cues too. And I think just everybody works very well together and very cohesive unit.
Yeah. And you all have fun.
Well, we have fun too. That's
Always smiling.
That's most important.
Yeah.
And if you're not having fun at the track, then why be there? And
Right.
and that's my goal too. I tell our staff that you're working hard, but at the end of the day, you should be having fun here. That's the goal.
Yeah. So before we do a deep dive on TREC, let's go really quickly through what other wheel-to-wheel racing exists in the NASA world. Classes.
As far as classes, there's
Yes.
yes,
Something for everyone.
everything. We have a class for everything, and within our weekend, our region breaks down all the classes into 2 run groups.
All right.
Lightning is one run group and Thunder's the other. We do mixed class racing. Initially, some people, they just want to have their own class in their own run group. But really, mixed class racing adds a whole other element to the race. I mean, it's a whole other strategy, and it can be a disadvantage, but can be an advantage too. So, but in the Lightning group is generally the smaller displacement cars, and the Thunder's the bigger, faster cars.
Gotcha.
And as far as classes, we have lots of classes. You want me to name all of them? It's almost too many to name, but we have a lot of spec classes that are NASA specific. Spec Miatas, one of the biggest, 944. We have a newer one, Spec 3, which is a BMW class, Spec E46, Spec Iron.
American Iron.
Yeah, and in the
Extreme.
American Iron series, there's American Iron. That's the class I generally run in. American Iron Extreme, which is a faster class, sort of a sub-brand of that is CMC, Camaro Mustang Challenge. That's some of the older Camaro Firebirds, Mustangs. Those guys put on a great show. Bunch of competitive racers.
There's the BMWs, the Spec 3s.
Yeah, Spec 3. Spec E46 has really grown as a spec class.
Still have an E30 class?
Yeah, E30.
Yeah.
The Spec 3 is the E36, and that class is kind of growing. Spec E30 used to be huge in our region. It's really big in the southeast, mid-Atlantic regions. It's a little bit smaller these days, but I don't know, I found classes ebb and flow depending on the year and the size. Another popular class is Thunder Roadster GTR. It's not an open wheel car, but it's an open cockpit car based on 2 tube chassis with motorcycle engine. That class has grown like crazy. Those guys race really tight.
Yeah.
That car, it's open cockpit, so you can see where your tire is in relation to the edge of your car and the car around you. So those guys race within inches of each other. It's crazy how tight they are. And couple new classes in NASA that we started last year is the Corvette Cup, C5, C6 cars with all the LS varieties. There's power to weight ratios that the classes or the different cars run in with the different engine combinations. And they just announced a 200 treadwear tire for that class. I think that class is going to grow. Everybody loves their Corvettes.
Oh my gosh, these C5s. I mean, that's what everyone's bringing to the track.
Yeah. So a lot of flexibility in that class. Spec, I always confuse Spec and Cup. MX5, Spec MX5 was a group that ran with NASA. NASA's really tight with Mazda and in lots of programs. We have the Teen Mazda Challenge, which is sort of a sub-segment of Spec Miata that's really big with our young drivers, 13 years and older.
Really?
Kind of coming out of karts.
Wow.
Those kids are fast. Oh my God. Yeah.
And, but anyway, this year we have a rule set that's within NASA that's a Spec MX5. So I expect to see more of those cars at the track. The ST classes that, Bill, you were asking about for your RX-7, ST will fit anything. It's a builder's class. It's not really a spec class, so it's all power to weight. Online, there's this really neat calculator. Anybody can just go in and start playing with it. You're like, oh, I have this car. It has this much horsepower. It weighs this much. I want to go in this ST class. And you start clicking all the boxes to see where your power needs to be or where the weight of your car needs to be.
There's a bunch of modifiers. Like if I'm running this 200 treadwear tire versus
tires are a big modifier.
I'm glad to hear there's a tool because I was looking at all the pluses and minuses and I'm like,
it's a little overwhelming. It's a little overwhelming, but it's really simplified by that online calculator. It's kind of fun to go and play with it. You can kind of
do that what if stuff.
Yeah. Especially if you're building things or you're in the off season, you want to make some changes. Do I want to add this, delete it? Yeah.
So the ST starts with ST6, and our TREC rules are sort of based off of the ST classes too. That's why the TREC classes are numbered that way. But ST6 is sort of the highest weight to power ratio, the slowest class, and then it goes all the way up to ST1, which is the fastest class. And then we have sort of within that umbrella is Super Unlimited, and those are more prototype cars, but it's unlimited power to weight. And then last year they broke out the GT class, which are unlimited power, but production-based vehicles as opposed to prototype specific.
And then we also have time trials too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And time trial fits within the ST class rules as far as the power to weight. So the time trial is just competing against the clock, but the rules for the car in the classing is the same as ST for racing.
All right.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah. So that is a good segue into TREC. Now, traditionally, TREC has been a couple of hours on a Friday.
Right.
Putting it in the schedule, letting some folks. I know a lot of folks have used it as testing. Maybe they're running later in the weekend. Let's use this. But you have taken TREC and taken it from a Friday event of a couple hours to now a full weekend.
Right.
Why the change? Why go big?
Go big or go home, really. I guess
it's the right thing to do.
It's the right thing to do. I love endurance racing personally. Started in, I don't know, maybe 2007 or 8 when NASA had its endurance racing rules where you had to have a full comp license and medical. It was your sprint racing license that allowed you to race NASA endurance. And it was really before any of the other existing more simplified endurance series that we have now. And then I did some Grand Am ST races, which were 2-3 hour races, driver change and so forth too. And so that format, I just like the team aspect of it. And so when TREC rule set came around, it was a little goofy to start with, I must admit, but it started in 2000, right when COVID hit, and it kind of threw everybody for a loop. But we went into it, I think, with three events with TREC starting out. And with my passion for it, I'm like, we got to start this one way or another. And we just did Fridays. And I think we did a couple 3-hour events on Fridays. And then I realized that it was becoming more popular. We had a couple rough events. We had one at Gingerman. I think we had, for 3 hours, we had 5 cars running around. And, but we made a commitment, and then the next year I think we did a truck race at every Friday that we had. Some were, I think we only had 1 3-hour. They were all 4 hours. We found that was a pretty good format, and it was a great opportunity for racers to test in a race environment under the TREC format. And in this year, 2026, it was a national initiative to do full weekends. Okay. And from the beginning, I always had a dream of doing a full weekend of TREC racing, and but it was really kind of based on the NASA endurance rules, which is a bigger barrier of entry, because you have to have a comp license and a medical, and that makes it real difficult for.
It's a barrier, yeah.
It's a big barrier. So the TREC makes it a lot easier. So
because let's be clear, there's no comp license requirement.
There's no comp license required. There's nor medical. So which makes it so much easier. We do have a TREC license. There's a little $20 fee. There's a very simple online application to fill out, and we ask every new driver to take our CCR test, and it's just a simple online test. But it kind of sets the stage for a little bit of formality and legitimacy to that license, I think, which is a benefit. It's not just somebody going to race that's never driven before, right? But it's not a high barrier of entry. We think that's a sweet spot.
Yeah, I think so.
So I'm talking too much, Glenn.
Not at all, because this is all good background. Because I came in, started doing it 4 years ago. I think it was, and one of the things that not requiring a comp license does, it also lowers the experience level for those who want to come. We look for an HPDE 3 level driver to start racing with us. So it's somebody who's very comfortable on the track, very comfortable in traffic, can drive predictably. So there aren't any surprises out there. And for somebody who's working toward that comp license and wants to really start racing, the track time is just amazing.
Oh, sure.
You're out there just lap after lap after lap. In an endurance racing environment, you're not worried about, I got to catch that guy this lap. I got to get around him in the next corner. It's like, okay, I can work up to whoever I need to get by, but at the same time, I can start trying some things. I think I can get faster through this corner. Let me try something different. So when I'm out there racing, I'm also learning. I'm improving myself. I'm not trying to do the same thing over and over. I'm always looking for something new because I'm trying to get better. And it's a great opportunity for those people who've got to that point in their journey and want to get a lot more track time.
Yeah. So You went from Spec 944 to TREC. What did you like about endurance racing other than the bumping?
I'm more of a planner, a strategist, and I really like the preparation and planning, and then trying to execute on that plan.
Because a lot can happen.
Yeah,
in endurance
I'm
race.
not the fastest driver. I don't have the fastest car. I'm mid-pack in the class that we run, and my co-driver, we're within a couple of seconds of each other. So it's really all about how can we keep going, not make mistakes, minimize our time in the pit, following, the rules that, with the required number of pit stops and things like that.
Which are what? What are the required number of stops?
So that's based on the length of the race. And so if the race is published as a 4-hour race, then there would be 2 pit stops. So it's for every 2 hours of the published race duration. So 4-hour race, 2 stops. When we get into the full weekends where we're doing 7 and 8 hour races, it would be, 4 or 5 stops.
Yeah, and required to get the driver out after 2 hours?
No.
No? All right.
No. But you have to make a stop every 2 hours, and it's a 5-minute stop. So, yeah, you can run the same driver for more than 2 hours, but every 2 hours he's going to come in and sit in the pits for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Just kind of hopefully to collect himself or herself.
Right.
And, before going back out.
Get a drink, fill up the vehicle with fuel.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, it's... I love it. It really is a strategy, and it's that slowly reeling somebody in and worrying about, did that other team do their pit stop yet, or is it coming up? And and I even think about the psychological impacts. It's like, okay, if we start with a full tank of gas, we can go, for so long, and at this point in the race, we may suddenly be ahead, and nobody's going to expect that. Or maybe we pit early so that we're sitting behind, knowing that we can go longer on this next stint, this next tank of gas. And then they come in, and then boom, we're suddenly a lap ahead of them. They're like, where did those guys come from? So it's all that planning and that strategy that really appeals to me.
Yeah. For your 944, how many hours can you get out of a tank?
I've got an earlier car, so it's 17.4 gallons. We burn 7 gallons an hour, so I can go 2 hours easy.
Oh, easy, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then when you've done the events before, you and just one other driver?
Yeah, I have. This is another cool thing about TREC is because there are multiple drivers, you can share the costs.
Yes.
Right. So that brings endurance racing into reach for a lot of folks. I own the car. I worked up a spreadsheet of all the consumables and wear and tear, and we figured out what it costs, per race hour to run the car. And so, every weekend my co-driver writes me a check for his half, and I cover the other half, and it's worked out really well. And I forgot the original question, but
just the 2 drivers.
Yeah. So,
but then what do you bring for crew?
Volunteers, usually. Yeah. We have a couple of folks that'll help out if they're at the track, and it's really easy to find volunteers. Really all you need is somebody who's got the equivalent driver safety equipment, the suit, the helmet,
right.
Gloves and stuff, because they have to have that during fueling. So one person appropriately equipped to hold a fire bottle, another person to dump the gas, and the drivers can be changing at the same time. So volunteers are easy to find. And if you can't find one, you can usually go to the teams in the pit next to you and say, hey, would you mind holding a fire bottle? And they're like, sure, yeah.
Who wouldn't want to help out? And then the classing, it's based on the ST classing?
It is,
okay.
Yeah. So we take the lap record for the ST class, and then we basically add 3 seconds to it and then round it off. And that becomes the upper limit for the comparable TREC class. We have to make some minor adjustments every now and then when there's a record that's not as high as it should be, or maybe a little too high. But generally speaking, the classes end up to be 2 to 3 seconds apart. And you pick, when you enter the race, you pick which class you want to run based on the published limit.
Right.
And then
So
you're supposed to stay under it.
you would know that ST6 has this lap time that you've determined. And then if my car runs right around that, I'm going to be ST6.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So take an example. Say the class record for an ST class at Mid-Ohio is 148. We'd add 3 seconds to it. 49, 50, 51. 151 would be the upper limit for that class. And as long as you're below that limit, you're okay. If you go above it, then you have to come in, during the race. If you go above it, you come in, you change the class number on your car, and you go back out, and you are now competing in the next higher class.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, timing and scoring will flag it.
No kidding.
It pops up automatically if any car sort of breaks out of that class time.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that driver's just thinking, man, I got the seat time. I'm getting better. I'm getting faster. And now I got to pit stop and change my class.
Yeah, you got to think about that. There have been some tracks where I have improved 2 seconds over the length of the race. It's like,
Wow.
Fortunately, you still have a lot of time between where I get to and the class limit. But yeah, you got to think about that. You will get better as you race.
Sure.
You don't get a lot of people that break out. I would say probably 80% of the cars are quite a bit slower than those times. And, it's endurance racing. There's a lot more to it than lap time.
Oh, yeah.
And one of our last 4 hour, no, the 7-hour race at Gingerman we did? The Honda Fit. Was it the Honda Fit? Or maybe that was a 4-hour. Anyway, the slowest car in the whole field won overall. So, you just don't, sometimes you
That's
just don't
endurance
know.
racing.
Yeah. It's endurance racing.
Yeah. So you've laid out a very robust schedule for 2026. Can we go through it? Do you know it all off the top of your head?
I
Brought notes?
numbers are terrible in my little brain, so I brought some notes
Perfect.
that has all the events and the dates. But we're almost all of our events on a Friday. Where we have a TREC event, whether 3 hour, 4 hour, most are 4 hours, and then 3 weekends in our region that are full weekend racing.
Yeah, I think in our region, I have to count, but I think it's for TREC, it's 10 events and 13 races is the way it works out. So
Yeah.
is that about right?
Yeah, 10. We have 10 TREC races this season.
Okay.
Including the Fridays.
Yeah. So let's concentrate. So the listener knows every Friday there's going to be a TREC race that's part of your bigger weekend.
Right.
Let's talk about the standalone weekends for TREC because there's 3 of those.
Yeah, there's 3 of those.
All right. What's the first one?
That's what we're kind of most excited about this
Heck
year.
yeah.
And I think we've got some pretty cool tracks to start with to have them. They're not our marquee tracks, not the pro tracks, but they're just awesome, fun tracks to drive. June, first weekend in June is at NCM down in Bowling Green.
Love that track.
And
What do you love about that track?
It's not a track you learn corner by corner. It's got distinct sections, groups of corners. Is the way I thought a while ago, it's almost like a piece of classical music. It's got these little pieces that feel and sound a little different. You've got smooth flowing parts. You've got some real high speed parts. You've got some tight stuff. And I had to learn it as sequences of corners.
Okay.
So
it's long, it's complicated, it's challenging all the time.
Yeah. And so that's going to be a 8+7 format?
Yeah, we're doing. We'll have Fridays as well for practice, and
Then we do 8 hours on Saturday and 7 hours on Sunday.
Yep, and followed by that, and also first weekend in June at NCM is like prime weather weekend.
Yeah.
at
Is
that
it?
track, because it's a little bit farther south. You get into July and it's a little hot.
Yeah.
But I don't know, just awesome facility. We love the staff there. They love us, and we just really get along. We love that track. First weekend in August, up north at Nelson Ledges. NASA hasn't been there in a long time.
When was last time? Do you remember?
It was before I was involved. I think they did maybe a single day HPDE or something. I don't recall the details. It's a shorter track, smaller facility. It doesn't really fit the size of events we put on very well normally. So
So a standalone weekend ideal for track.
It's great for a standalone endurance racing.
yeah, and it's kind of an iconic, historic track, especially for endurance racing, and it's a simple track, super fast. I learned to drive there. We used to go rent that track. Back
I remember that story. Yeah, the Taurus on its.
Yeah,
not yours. Let's be
no,
clear
it wasn't my
about
Taurus.
Not your Taurus.
But I think it was a green Taurus. It looked like a turtle on its shell. We had to roll it over, but we shouldn't talk about that.
Let's talk before we move on to the third event. Let's talk about Nelson Ledges a little bit, because if we were recording this originally, so the listener doesn't know, we were trying to get this done in October, November. You would have been the only endurance race at Nelson Ledges for 26. Now, Lucky Dog snuck in a weekend. And SCCA is thinking about one of their shorter format ones, but I mean, marquee NASA endurance weekend. I think it's going to be a huge weekend. I wouldn't be surprised if it sells out.
Yeah,
because AER is not coming, Champ's not coming.
Right. Yeah, we hope so.
Yeah,
obviously,
let's make it happen.
We this season is new to us. We're taking on some risk here, so we really greatly appreciate everybody that comes to support it. And I don't know, that's just a really good track for this format of racing, I think. And we hope we sell it out. I don't even know what sellout numbers are yet. We have to look at the length of the track and determine that to set some sellout limits. But that would be ideal.
Oh, heck yeah!
Yeah, fun track, easy to learn, hard to master. There's just some sections of it that, you want to overbrake, but you can just roll so much speed through some of those corners. You just let the car go, and it's fun.
Yeah, it is. We were lucky, you live by Pit Race, so you're not terribly far from the track from Nelson. You and I are a lot closer. We're lucky to have something like that we can just get over to. And you were just 15 minutes from Pit Race when it was open. It was easy to. Car hardly even warmed up before you got there.
Yeah. Yep.
And then what's the third race on the schedule?
Third one is this fall. First weekend in October. Back up in Michigan at Gingerman. And for those who haven't raced Gingerman, it's one of the best little club tracks there is. It's just so much fun, really challenging, but not hard to learn at the same time. It's wide open. It's a good track to practice rolling maximum speed through the apex. Your consequences on missing an exit going off is low consequences. We don't encourage that. No. However,
should it happen,
there's very little to hit there. And I don't know, just really nice people at the track up there. Beautiful part of the state, real close to Lake Michigan. A lot of people will take an extra couple days to go hang out at the lake. And
the weather should be incredible.
Yeah, that time of year, October,
absolutely
should be sunny. And I don't know, what's neat from Northeast Ohio person is it almost feels, we always usually call it a beach party at our other events up there because it feels like you're at the beach.
Yeah,
I don't know, the ground's a little sandy and it just has a nice atmosphere at that track.
So I didn't realize this about Gingerman until couple months ago. So how that track got built is a gentleman owned a bar where the Color of Money movie was filmed.
Yep.
Right.
And he took that money and built Gingerman Raceway.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I've only been there once. I didn't get a whole lot of seat time because we were having neon problems. Go figure, right?
Right.
But if I had known that, I think I would have paid more attention to, because I guess there's some stuff around in one of the buildings there that, has some
of the
pictures
nuances.
and stuff.
Yeah. Jillian, our registrar, she's been doing a knockout job with our social media this year. She's been having fun with it. And she talked to the track owner and he filled her in on some of those details. I didn't know a lot of those details too. She did a Facebook post with some of those details, and I didn't know the whole story either. But they have, it's sort of the classroom or the main building there. The Dolce Vita is the name of it, and they have some murals and some things and some paraphernalia from the restaurant that the owner had in Chicago. Which is kind of neat.
It is, yeah. And since you mentioned social media, yes, I have noticed that NASA Great Lakes social media is blowing up. It's awesome. It's good to see. Because that's how a lot of people get their information. Not all people, but there's a good number of people. That's how they're getting it.
Yeah, she's been doing a great job and having a lot of fun. I struggle with it. Whatever I try seems to fail, but she just knocks it out of the park. And a lot of fun stuff she's been doing. Really bringing people in, a lot of interviews, just a lot of diverse interviews and looking at all aspects of what we do. Really fun.
And the website looks new or refreshed. Yes?
The website's brand new. It's reformatted. We had to change the company that hosted the website, and has a whole new, it's a WordPress now. And me is a little behind the 8 ball getting it up to speed. So I just have to start building the event pages with the details of the events in there and so forth. But you can go there and find where to go for registrations. All of NASA's unique because we have our own registration system. And it's through the national website, drivenasa.com, but that's on our website. It's linked to the national website that does all the registrations. So it's all in-house.
Gotcha. Let's jump back to Glenn, a little bit more talk on TREC. So listener is eating all this up and they want to go endurance racing. They've never done it. And they said, all right, I'm going to do it with NASA. We talked about kind of how to set the team up in terms of a couple of drivers. Yeah. Get some volunteers to help, but what else would someone need to make sure the weekend's going to be successful? So
we'll start with minimum requirements. Jay mentioned earlier the TREC license. If you have the appropriate level of experience, go to the NASA site, make sure you get a membership, fill out your profile with all your experience, your car information, all of that. Purchase a TREC license, do the little CCR test, and then you're in the position as far as membership and certifications or whatever you want to call it to do it.
And that license is pretty easy. And me as a regional director, I'm the one that approves those licenses. So
can we Venmo you some? Make sure this goes through.
No,
you don't need it.
People pretty much know what the expectations are, and it's not a beginner driver series. No. And I do my due diligence and check on everybody's resume because I think all the drivers deserve that. And there may be one over the past 5 years, one license I didn't approve, and they quickly got their requirements. And so anyway, it's a pretty simple process.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, and anybody who's going to drive, of course, will need to go through that process as well. The next thing is the car. It's got to be a race prep car. It has to pass NASA annual inspection. So
does it get a logbook?
It gets a logbook. Okay. So there's no special, unique technical requirements for a TREC car. It's just the standard NASA requirements for a competition car. So you get that inspection, you're good to go. We don't do inspections every event, so you have the annual. It's up to you to make sure your car is maintained in good order. We're not going to check on you unless you give us a reason to, right? Mm-hmm. So you got the car, you've got your driver set up. You need some basic pit equipment. You need an approved 5-gallon fuel jug. We only allow 5 gallons at a time, and there's a limited number of jugs that you can use, so we keep it fair. You need a fire bottle. You need some water. You need some oil dry. You need a catch pan, and I think that's it, really. And then as far as equipment goes, that's all you need, and it's just register for the race. Pick your class based on the times, and come and have some fun.
And there you go.
Yeah.
So no practice, no qualifying. Just, hey, my car generally, I'm going to run this and take the green flag.
So qualifying,
There is practice. Yeah.
Okay.
there is practice. Qualifying we do based on class and registration. So we're going to put the fastest classes up front and work our way back. And then if you register first in your class, you're going to be sitting first at the start of the race. So
Oh, how fun.
register early, right? So it makes it super simple. And
We have the ability to change that up. We may in the future, but in the past, it's just been an easy way to set grid, and it's just pretty straightforward. But we do a true start. We do a true race start.
Yeah.
it's endurance racing. You're not going to win it in the first turn, right?
No?
But yeah. And if you do, there's something seriously wrong with everybody else.
Yes.
But yeah, so we do the normal race start. Pace car goes out. We do double file starts and drop the green flag, and off you go. If we have to do a restart, single file restarts, just like any other racing.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I want to hear about a funny story. I want a TREC funny story or endurance racing funny story, and then a NASA, like something that came up in a weekend. So Glenn, we're going to give you a second to think about it because Jay may have more to choose from. So Jay, something funny that came up running a NASA weekend.
You put me on the spot.
Oh, there's got to be something. Somebody forgot something. Somebody threw a tantrum and stormed off in their transporter.
I don't know. This is more of a story than something funny, but it is from a different perspective, and it was during a TREC race.
Okay.
But Janet, our chief of control, who communicates with all the corner workers and everything, you know, the corner workers are key to what we do, right? They keep us safe. They let us know what's around the next corner. But anyway, they're there all day, and they find great entertainment in the names of the endurance racing teams.
Oh, all right.
And so Janet will share a lot of those names with the corner workers just to let them know who's out there, and they really appreciate that. And I don't know, I can't tell you, but we started coming up with hypothetical names in team names. So the nursery rhyme team, we came up with car number 1, 2, buckle my shoe, 3, 4, shut the door, 5, 6, pick up sticks. So some team has to go with that name theme or something goofy that entertains the corner workers.
That's funny.
That keep us in line.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say really quickly, it's funny. Through the SCCA, we'll be talking with people that normally work the corners and flagging, and we'll be talking about someone by name. And they're like, I don't know who you're talking about. Please tell me their car and car number. Then I'll know who you mean. So yeah, they speak a different language.
They do,
in the
right?
corners.
It's interesting, and it's part. They're so integral. All the support staff of an event is so integral to what we do. I had a corner worker tell me one time how they loved their job. And as a racer, your whole goal, you're so focused on winning and that optimum lap time and all of that stuff. And the corner workers are there, but they're more in your periphery, And this one corner worker was telling me how, they can't believe how these racers spend all this money and all this time racing, and they get to enjoy the sport, make a couple bucks maybe, but they're not spending money, but they get to enjoy the sport too. But I don't know, it's just a different perspective for all the different people at an event and what makes it all go and who finds pleasure in what portion of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
As long as they find that.
Right.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Glenn, funny story?
As you're talking about control and corner workers, I was thinking dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was at Gingerman when we did our 7 hour this last season. And I was up in the tower, and people were looking and down and pointing over to pit road. And I look over, and there's a car that's in refueling. And the guy with the fire bottle and the guy fueling are just kind of dancing in sync, going back and forth. They had one of the standard fuel bottles with the little 1-inch hose, and it takes a little while, so they're just sitting there waiting, just moving back and forth, totally in sync.
Synchronized refueling.
Yeah. And then I also found out later that I guess there's a new tradition up in the control tower at every hour point through the race. They get up, do a little dance, and sit down. The timing and scoring and control folks.
Whatever makes them interesting.
Yeah. So dancing is included.
Apparently, dancing at NASA. Let's talk about advice. Glenn, can you think of the best racing advice you've ever received?
I'm not going to call it advice, but an experience that hit home with me. And it has to do with RX-7, and I know you're an RX-7 guy. At one of the early IMSA races that I went to, it was a 24-hour at Daytona. The Mazda factory team brought RX-7s. They were all white, and they had the Mazda name painted in blue from nose to tail across it. It was great when they went up on high banks. It just said Mazda. That team started the race, ran nonstop, no problems, no issues, no maintenance. They were so freaking fast. It was a flawless race. It was all preparation. It was all preparation. So that hit me early on. Endurance racing is not about just showing up and going fast for a long time. It's about being able to go fast for a long time. So yeah, it's make sure the car is capable of it. Take your time, think about what could go wrong, even things that are, I don't like the wires to have any movement, when I'm wiring it up. I make sure everything is tight and it's not going to be able to bounce around. What's going to flex, what's going to move, what could wear out, and if so, how are you going to handle that? So it's all in the prep. That's where we're at.
That's a great reference to that. Jay, can you think about the best racing advice you've received?
Best racing advice. There's so many different things that come to mind. I'm a driver at heart, I guess, and an instructor. I get the opportunity to instruct our HPDE students, which I love doing. It's so satisfying, so gratifying. And so I think about, driving advice. And one of the simple things that I heard and learned from Brian Till, who he currently announces, he'll be announcing 24 Hours of Daytona race, and he was an instructor with me at the Mid-Ohio School, and he taught the class. And his thing was the line is a line. And it's so important to just to break down your driving and your learning to that basic point. And I'll add to that to keep your eyes up and look as far forward as you can, so that you anticipate rather than react. We've all heard this. This is kind of nothing new, but I think along with the line is a line is consistency. And it's your turn-in point, it's your apex, it's your exit. And with my HPDE students, where they're like sponges. They're just soaking it all up. They're in like the middle of the biggest part of the learning curve. And a lot of them are just trying too hard. and they're almost over driving. And I try to convince them, I'm like, pull the reins a little bit, back a little bit, and just focus on the basics. The line. The line is the line is the line. If you can be consistent on every corner of every lap, your turn in, your apex, your exit, and just focus on that, the speed will come. Before you know it, you're consistent, and consistency develops speed.
Right.
Relax.
So is that the advice that you would then give somebody?
I do.
Okay, perfect. Glenn, what about you? What advice would you give to someone that might approach you at an event and say, I want to do more, I want to get a little bit better. I always hate getting faster. I want to get a little bit better. What advice do you give them?
Yeah, that's a good distinction, better versus faster, because faster doesn't necessarily mean better, but better usually means faster, right? I think it starts with being humble, realizing that as a driver, we all suck and we can all suck less. But when you start thinking that you've got it nailed, you're probably leaving some time on the table. So always, it's always looking for, where can I make a small difference in the way I'm driving to improve the overall outcome, and focus on one thing at a time. Don't go out there and say, okay, I want to reduce my lap time by 0.2, and that's your goal. Take a step back. How are you going to do that? Where are you going to find that? And then work on just that spot until you get it, and then work on something else.
How does someone determine where to start with that 0.2? It might vary a little bit by driver, but...
Two places. You have that gut feeling. It's like, I think I can go faster through there.
Okay.
Or watching somebody else pull away from you because they went faster through that particular section. What's that person doing that different than what I'm doing? If that car can get through there like that, then I should be able to do that too. So it's a lot of comparing to what other people do, plus your gut feeling.
All right. We're getting towards the end of the podcast. So I want to make sure, is there anything we didn't talk about that you wanted to talk about, whether it be track, NASA, life, racing?
A couple more points on TREC.
Yes.
Rule set, super simple, real easy. It's not complicated. Makes it easy to come and go racing with us. We have a great bunch of people that are already racing TREC, and everybody helps everybody else. It's a wonderful community, and it's a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun, and that's what TREC is really all about. It's about teamwork. It's about fun, and we try to do it in a very safe manner.
So rule set, if they went and they looked at the general, I'm going to guess you have the general competition rules.
Yep.
That it's kind of a baseline for everything, right? What
there's the CCR, which is all of NASA.
Mostly the safety. That's mostly the safety equipment side, and the etiquette on track.
Wait, what? Etiquette on track? What's that about?
Yeah, it's be a good sportsman. And there's some specific rules on how to do that. As far as having the right to align and when you've got to give up your line to somebody who's coming around you, those kinds of things. But then there's also the TREC rule set, and you can find it on the Drive NASA site, which lays out the TREC rules, and it's not very long. It covers pit stops, it covers classing, how qualifying can be done. It talks about some penalties for things if you mess up. But it's really pretty straightforward. And if anybody goes out and they got any questions, we can be reached easily via email. We also have a Facebook page. And this season, we're standing up a Discord server for TREC. So that'll be coming up very shortly. So there's lots of ways of getting information. If you got any questions, we'd love to have people come and join us. We're having so much fun.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. Anything else?
One thing we didn't talk about on the subject of TREC, TREC, Team Racing Endurance Challenge, TREC. And the team portion of it I think is important. You know, you have your crew, everybody works together as a team. It's a team sport. It's not a sprint race.
We did skip over what TREC stand for, and as we were going,
Team Racing Endurance Challenge. It's a bit of a mouthful. We weren't sure if we loved the name of it, but it's kind of stuck now. So we stuck with it. We did this whole, I don't know, last year, this whole rebranding thought process, and we're like, this is it. We've got it. We're just going to stick with it. But it is 2026 is a NASA national initiative to have full weekend TREC events within every region at many tracks around the country. It's very difficult to find slots for open weekends at a lot of tracks, and some regions had trouble doing that. And in going into 2027, I believe there will be an even broader range of TREC races around the country at all the regions. We talked about seasons points. I think next year there will probably be a national championship for points within TREC.
Oh, wow.
And then within our region, we'll have a points championship series too that will end the season at NCM the end of October. And we were talking about points where we're looking at doing the short Fridays as a single points, and then each day on the weekend is a double points event.
Oh, all right.
That you can accumulate season's points for a championship.
Exciting.
Get the big trophy.
That's right. Yeah. And the sticker.
Right. Lots of winner stickers.
Lots of winner stickers. If somebody wants to learn more about NASA Great Lakes, we talked about socials. We got Facebook and Instagram. The website. What is the website?
NASAGreatLakes.com.
Easy enough.
Is our regional.
We'll link to that. And then drivenasa.com.
Yeah, drivenasa.com is a national site. That's where all the registrations happen. You can go onto the events section and sort it by region, by track, different ways, by date. Find out what event you want to go to.
Okay.
And we will be, I was just on a regional directors meeting Wednesday, and they're going to be putting together a specific TREC schedule within the next couple weeks.
Very good.
Yeah.
Between now and the first event of the season, do you have any webinars, any events where people could come and learn more about NASA?
I mentioned our Discord server will be, once we're ready to launch that, we'll put that out on Facebook. Facebook is kind of our main big blast way of reaching folks. I keep a mailing list for emails, so if somebody wants to get on our mailing list, they can shoot me an email at TREC, TREC, at nasagreatlakes.com, and I'll get you added.
We didn't mention Glenn is one of our 2 TREC series leaders. Tim Fokine and Glenn are our TREC series leaders.
Right. So if you got TREC questions, you go to Glenn.
Yep. Or Tim.
How'd you get roped into that?
I think I volunteered. Yeah, I did.
All right.
You did.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I really like the progression from, the Porsche autocross, and then you do the track night in America. You're like, I really like this. Let's get a different car. And then here you are overseeing endurance racing with NASA. I think that's an awesome journey.
I love it. I'm really excited for the future of TREC. I think it's going to be a really strong series, and a lot of people are going to have fun doing it.
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait to be at some of those events. Might not be racing TREC, but I'll be at the event. We'll see.
Can you hold a fire bottle?
I will hold a fire bottle. That's usually, I like doing that rather than the heavy jugs and doing that. Before we wrap up, I have to know if either of you have ever been late to grid. So Glenn, we're going to start with you. Have you ever been late to grid?
Yeah, I have.
What's the story?
Honestly, it's come from trying to be a co-series leader and race at the same time. usually scrambling. And sometimes it's like, oh, okay, we were supposed to be in grid spot 13, but I guess we'll have to settle for 30.
Oh, boy.
You know? But endurance racing, it's fine.
That's right.
Yeah. It's usually something like that. Or, when I'm instructing, taking extra time with a student puts me a little behind.
Sure. Not getting to your car, helmeted up and out.
Yep.
All right. Jay, any updated late to grid stories?
Late to grid stories. I kind of cheated a little bit and, listening to your podcasts, which I just have to compliment you on doing this.
Oh, thank you.
Joe Rogan doesn't have anything on you. You want to hear about the driving and racing community, come and listen to Bill. Really appreciate everything you do.
Thank you.
Late to grid, that is one of my pet peeves. I really try not to. I have in the past, I try to block those out of my memory. Usually it's like getting in the car, suited up, and realize I forgot to torque the lug nuts. That's usually one of the last things that goes through my mind. And, you got to unbuckle and get out and get, and
you were already cutting it close.
Yes, at that time. And they were loose, so it was worth it. It was worth it. But I make it a point to get the grid on early. I'm usually one of the first ones there. I like to not be buckled in. I just drive up and then I get out of my car and I come and talk to my fellow racers and see who's around me. Just take my time, put my helmet on, start the car at 3 minutes and go race.
Beautiful. Well, gentlemen, thanks for being on the podcast. Thanks for sharing more about NASA and TREC, and best wishes for a great 2026.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it.